Hi there. Welcome to Betrayal Krondor episode 14. I'm Shoddy. And where did we leave off? We found a magic map, but we don't know where the mine is that we're supposed to use the map in. Chapter 6, Betrayal. Find the Book of Macros. Let's see. I think we were going to Sarth. Yes. Let's just go. This is the dead guy who had the key. Bad guys. Did we kill them? We must have. Dragon armor? We don't have the spyglass, and I think we already got all the treasures here anyways. Oh. Scorpion. Their advantage was lost. Do like Skin of the Dragon. Can't even see the highlight underneath them. I don't think these drop anything. We're bad guys. Good boy. You can see them. They're being watched. Oh, the poison. Ooh, and fireball. Fire arrow. Darn it. Man, they really don't like Owen. Light him so he doesn't get away. What's this for? Distracting opponents. Use up some of my consumables. This one is for spellcasters. Enough room. Might as well drink it. Right, we found Sarth. Thought it was north of me. So can't be it, can it? Oh. There we go. Brother Mark hove into view. Still wielding a hoe in his hammy fist, he gestured to Owen with it. This guy I was supposed to meet on my way to Krondor, but I never did. I advise you to stay well clear of Sarth. Our brother Dominic has fallen ill with Quidgeon fever. Why didn't anyone treat the fever before it became serious? None of us knew he was infected until this morning. When he woke this morning, he reported to the Brotherhood's herbalist that he was experiencing dizziness. One of the early signs of the fever. But I wouldn't be overly concerned. Quidgeon fever is rarely fatal to adults. It's not the fever's primary effects that concern me. As Keeper of the Gates, Brother Dominic is the greatest wielder of the magical arts among us. Should he begin to hallucinate, he may lose his capacity to discern between real and imagined threats. He may view other members of the Brotherhood as enemies, or perhaps he will see a threat in the outside world. We know from Pug of Stardock that things of this nature can occur when magicians fall ill. No one can break his fever? I'm sure the herbalist will do what he can, but our best hope resides in Brother Dominic's iron will. Until such time his fever breaks, the Abbey of Iship at Sarth will be a fearfully dangerous place, and I would advise against going any closer. Was there something you needed from the Abbey? Oh my. So he was supposed to teach me about casting. Do you know anything about spellcasting? I know a little of it, though Brother Dominic knows more about it than I. As soon as he finishes his studies on Quidgeon civil codes, I'm certain he would be more than happy to sit down and talk to you about it. He should only be only another 2 or 3 months at it, I would think. I'm afraid we don't have 2 or 3 months to wait. Why don't we leave the brother alone, nephew? Tisk, tisk, tisk. Now, don't discourage the boy from asking questions, or he'll become afraid to question anything. I think I might have some time to teach him a bit about focusing if you can spare a few sovereigns. Say 50, is that acceptable to everyone? Yes. More than acceptable. Where do we start? Ah, an enthusiastic student. Delightful. This will be a pleasure to teach. Owen blanched. He had been assigned a simple enough task, cast a telekinetic spell to move his satchel closer to him. Instead, his satchel remained obstinately stationary while hurling Brother Mark backwards into his well-tended crops. Are you all right? Owen gasped. I didn't mean for that to happen. You are still depending on your eyes, Brother Mark sighed, brushing a stalk of corn out of his face as he struggled to his feet. Concentrate. If you ever find yourself in a situation when you can't see what you're affecting, all the spells in the world will be utterly useless to you. Instead of trying to see your target, try to feel it. Now let's try this again. I know you'll learn this eventually. We don't have any more time to waste, Goris said. Why don't you pick up your things and we can get ready to move on? Again on his feet, Brother Mark went to console his downcast pupil, patting him reassuringly on the shoulder. Remember, feel the target. That's the key. Until then, I suggest you stock up on a good supply of Luton's concentrate to get you through your exercises. Mine. My grandfather used to tell me stories about the chambers beneath Sarth. Said that we were once part of a rich dwarven mine. He called it the Mac Booglan Borgo. Hey, maybe that's for the map I have. Mac Borgolon Dock, I believe it was called. Yes, at one time it was quite an impressive emerald mine. He suggested that there still might be tunnels that connect with those directly beneath the abbey. If you have any of the old dwarven maps or deeds, we might be able to get in through the mine. Unfortunately, those maps are not in the Brothers of Sarth at the moment. We gave it over to the assistant tax collector who lives in Egley, a fellow named Stellan. I understand that there was some confusion in regards to how much the abbey could be taxed because of his connection to those old mines. If you speak to him, I'm sure he could show you those documents. At least it sounds like a way we may be able to re-enter the abbey. Amber's turn. I don't suppose among those masses of books you have in the abbey, you would have one on chess, would you? I'm looking for information on a chess move called Aber's Turn. No self-respecting Keshian library would be without one, and as the abbey was founded by Keshian wanderers, stands to reason you have something. Wonderful. If you could dig up something for us, I would be very happy to pay a finder's fee for anything you can find on chess moves. It's a fairly special request, so I may have to spend a while digging, and I do have another project I need to handle this evening. Would you be willing to pay 100 sovereigns? Yes. I think in this case it might be worth the expense. I will see to it your money is well spent. If you will wait here, I will return as soon as I have found something of interest. The priest returned several hours later. So what did you discover? Owen asked, his mood improving with Brother Mark's reappearance. Anything we can use? Mark frowned and burrowed in the folds of his robe. I found that there appears to be no difference between Linlan, Pashawar, cockfighting, Garrett's, Pokier, King's Mountain, Dice, Shon, I don't know what that word is, four hands down, and chess. As far as our cataloging system is concerned, they're all just still considered games, just games at this point. Owen shrugged. Oh well, nice try. I wish we just hadn't wasted our time. Brother Mark pulled a scroll of his left sleeve and laid it on Owen's lap. It wasn't a waste of time. You haven't seen this particular scroll. Pardon? Owen blinked at the parchment. Then at the priest. What do you mean? What I mean is that the scroll in your lap is known as the Saha Belahai, the Victor's Soul. It is perhaps the rarest and most valuable writing on the subject of chess ever put to paper. Unfortunately, it also gets it is also exceedingly rare. I get chills just thinking about what we had to do to get it. This is our only translation available, and was the only work I could find with reference to Abar's turn. Read it quickly before Brother Anthony finds I've taken it. Owen smiled and unrolled the scroll, studying all the details of the move carefully. Once he absorbed the material, he produced the gold he owed Brother Mark. I promise I won't forget your efforts, brother. The priest nodded and snatched up the scroll. Let's just hope Brother Anthony can. Macros. Do anything about the book of macros? Of macros? No. About macros. I know we have a few of them in the vaults, most concerning the legends about the Villa Beta, while he was living on Sorcerer's Isle. We might also have a few things by him in there, but I couldn't be certain without checking. Vaults. Is it permitted for outsiders to browse the books in the vaults? I would be interested in looking them over. It's fine with me, but it's Brother Anthony you may have to convince. He doesn't like strangers wandering around down there without supervision. We have a number of rare and valuable books, and it would be the worst kind of tragedy to lose them to a casual browser. I'll warn you, though, you may have difficulty finding what it is you want. Many of the books have never been cataloged, and unless you know very specifically what you're looking for, either by the scribe's name or the title of the work, you might not find anything that will be of value to you. Goodbye. We'll try our best to find a solution, but we have another important matter to attend to and very little time. What happens if this, in the circumstance that Brother Dominic begins to hallucinate? I cannot say with any certitude. My assumption is that he will activate the mystic defenses. If that occurs, there may be no access to the Abbey at all. At least it doesn't sound as if he will pose a life-threatening situation. If we come across anything that I think could be of help, I promise we will return as soon as we can. In exchange, do us a favor and stay out of Dominic's path until this problem is solved. Goodbye, brother. What the Idol of Lasser is for, maybe? I don't know. It doesn't say what it does. Path turned after a few minutes of traveling the road bed began a steady rise, spiraling, I can't say that, spiraling around the base of a sheer rock-faced hill. Sorry, Owen said, we probably have enough time to drop in for a brief visit, and it might break up the monotony of the road. Want to take a look? Yes. All there is enter. I've already read this. Light blinded Owen. Screaming, he arched his back from the doorway he had been about to press open, and covered his eyes, as if averting some great horror. Tumbling backward into Goroth, he trembled in the warrior's grasp. Magic, Owen gasped at last. Terrible, terrible magic. It was like looking into a nightmare. Someone was warded the door. Releasing his hold on the boy, Goroth stared at the doorway doubtfully. Is there any way you can banish it? Owen shook his head. No, it is far too powerful. We'll have to find another place. Morning. Find another way if we enter this place. Here's a large cave mouth. Let's go in there. So, I've been in here and I found all the loot, but there was like a door I couldn't open, I think. Oh. Can't be too much of a maze here. Have any torches? New. What about one of them rings? New. You have Catalog. Alright. Which way? Straight ahead is a dead end? That might be it. Not. We're probably not left. Oop. Probably straight ahead. One disappeared up the stairs. He returned a minute later, a look of grim determination evident on his face. These stairs must lead to the Borgalon Dock Emerald Mine. The tunnels are very complicated, but with the instructions we found in Stellan's house, we should be able to make our way through. Shall we try to find the library vaults? Yes. Gorth nodded. Together they climbed the moss-covered stone stairway that led to the mines. Bits of rock and splintered wood covered the dirt floor, making it difficult for them to walk. But they picked their way through the rubble, and after nearly an hour came to a wrought iron ladder, piercing a dark hole in the ceiling. The rungs were rusty, and metal splinters ripped at their hands and snagged their clothes as though trying to deny them egress from the mines as they climbed upward. The ladder ended up in a small wooden hallway, thick with dust and decorated with silky strands of spiderweb. The door at the end of the hall opened after some effort into a huge room stuffed with books. They had been heard. Assembled in the book-lined passage were 6 priests, all keenly interested in the arrival of the 2 strangers. From amidst them, a broad-shouldered priest stepped forward. Your presence may explain a great deal, the priest said, stabbing a finger in their direction. We have been unable to leave the vault since this morning when we found the door is bolted from the other side, and since I find it unlucky that our brother priests of Ishep have chosen to starve us to death. Not like that at all, Owen replied, waving his hands. We ran into your brother Mark when we were coming up the road. He said one of your brethren had fallen ill with the Queechan fever, and somehow his condition is linked to the passages being blocked. Mystic defenses, one of the priests offered. It is possible his solutions may have triggered them. Quickly, a debate ensued between the robed priests, finishing at last with several brethren scurrying off to shelves assigned for their examination. With a stern look, the angered priest also pointed to a shelf and directed that Owen and Gorth look for anything that mentioned the mystic defenses of Sarth or outbreaks of Queechan fever. Hours passed. His eyes aching from reading the nearly illegible handwriting of ancient scribes, Owen leaned his head back against the ancient shelving. I have no idea what we're looking for, Gorth. I've run across a half-dozen references to this abbey, but then I discover it has something to do with experiments with peas or an account of a new system of organizing these books. A sound drew their attention. At the end of the book-strewn passageway in which they sat, a priest eyed the disorganization with distress. Why are you still down here? Still looking for the answer, Owen said. Vaguely he gestured at a half-dozen open books around him. Haven't found it. Oh. Biting his lip, this priest seemed pensive about continuing. Well, I'm afraid we solved the problem about an hour ago. Brother Dominic is doing a bit better now. We were wondering where you two had gotten to. Angered, Owen slammed shut the cover of the book which he held in his lap, a translation of Dorcas's treatise on the animation of objects. Likewise, next to him, Gore stuffed away a wormy-looking book on history. Keep it, the priest insisted before Owen could put away the magical treatise. Dorcas's is popular here. We have other copies cross-indexed in the library. I was also instructed that once I found you, I was to reward you with these. Opening a pouch, the priest handed them 3 nearly perfect emeralds. They are yours, in appreciation for all you've done here. It's a small gesture, but I hope a useful one. Please feel free to continue to scan our library if it please you. Pretty sure I read this, but a supernatural silence reigned in the vaults underneath Sarth, a perfect stillness which was unbroken even when a priest would accidentally let fall a book while searching the shelves, or when someone would sneeze when opening a dusty volume. It was as if time itself had been frozen here, trapped between the wooden cases like pages within a book. Are we going to find the book of macros in here? Owen pulled down a book. A text of interest, Gorth asked, looking over his shoulder. Owen tapped the words on the spine. It's a journal written by Pug, titled Regarding Theories of Transspatial Gateways Proposed by Macros. Do you believe this is the book which we seek? Responding only with a shrug, Owen began to leaf through its pages, discovering immediately the majority of it was a technical document filled with diagrams and columns of numbers with notations off to the side and a curious shorthand. Whatever the book contained was far more advanced than any of the things he had read on magic thus far. He might as well be writing in Keshian, Owen said, shaking his head. While searching for an index, he discovered a small addendum, which related to a few of his conversations with Macros. This is interesting. Something to help us find Pug? Gorth questions. No. But something that might lead us to someone who might know something about the Book of Macros, Owen replied with excitement. It says here that someone named Thomas Megerson of Elvendar once traveled with he and Macros. Perhaps this Thomas fellow would know something about Macros or his book. Smiling grimly, Gorth's eyes held a dark humor. You intend that we should enter Elvendar? They will not be well pleased to see the likes of me. Why is that? Owen asked, putting the book back on the shelf. The kin of Queen Aglarana and those of my blood are enemies of old. None enter Elvendar itself save those sworn to her, or are considered the most intimate of friends. He said, it will not be an easy journey. Chuckling, Owen patted Gorth on the back. After the past few months, I can't imagine this trip being all that difficult. Besides, we'll be back close to where we met near Lamut. I believe there may be a way through to Elvendar near there. Right? I don't want to click on any more books. That's a lot of reading. Is there a shop? There is a shop. Emerald. Emerald. Oh, nearly perfect. Maybe them both put together. Idol of Lasser? No. I need some food. Eyes of Ishap. Skyfire. Flamecast. Dragon's Breath. Spare thy eyes. Night Fingers. Necrocicatrix. Skin of the Dragon. What's like clouds? The Flamecast I sold him? Yeah. Owen scowled. As much as I'd like to keep what we found, we can barely manage with what we have already have. Check your rucksack. See if you can't make us enough room. Can't make enough room so we can keep our new acquisitions with us. Oh, they're nearly perfect emeralds. Okay. I think I can throw this away. The mines of Mac Borgalon Dock are hereby deeded to Mekjakar Blackpatch and all wealth therein. A section of the caverns were sealed by a special door, which may only be opened with this map. A magical spell having been put upon it. Didn't say anything about a magical door, but I don't want to throw it away just in case then. Orcus Treatise. I want to flip through the crisp, well-lettered pages with growing interest. Seeing a passage he thought might be of later interest when reading, he dog-eared the edge of the page, but it was astonishment the page unbent itself, the crease vanishing without a trace before his very eyes. Man, there's nothing I can ditch. Wyvern's egg? Wyvern's egg? Sure. Goodbye. Well, it seemed clear to Owen that Dorcas knew intimately the material about which he was writing. Why is it, like, possessive? Dorcas's. You unfortunately assumed that his readers also understood many principles which were obscure or unheard of by most magicians. In the author's favor, he did make many useful points on the subject of interrelation. The principle allowed a magician to strike a target object with a spell and suggested that people first practicing the craft use a concoction called Luton's Concentrate to improve their accuracy with which they directed their spells. Oh, goodbye. Kind of want the egg. Brother Mark, like a moth to the candle flame. What about Sarth has you so quickly back here? Bye. Thorgath and I still have things we need to deal with, so I guess I should bid you farewell. Travel under Ishep's blessing, young one. Thank you. We will try. Oh, we will try. Thank you. Goodbye, Brother Mark. Ah! Now I gotta rest. Gee. Guess we'll go sell those emeralds real quick. This shouldn't disappear. This shouldn't disappear. Guess I could sell the book too. I want to put the idle lasser in there just in case it disappears for some reason. Sure, an inn? No. Not blessing your items for the final amount of ultimate power? I guess I could. I forgot about getting my items blessed at the temples. I don't think I really need to. Maybe I will if I come across another temple. Now I'm on my way to the Cave of Lamut. Go to Elvendar. Your attack was unexpected. The best gods give the number 3 blessing. I never really, when I played this, played with the blessings too much. Don't know which gods give the different blessings. I've been trying to use up the consumables that are in my inventory. Inventory is too full. This last icer can go away. There's a better whetstone. From what I remember, I think the top gods are Ishap, Kahuli, and Limbs Kragma. I think there was a temple near here, but I'm already kicking butt pretty good. The chapters are kind of going by faster now. I can't remember how much more of the game there is. I remember when I last played 10 or 20 years ago going to Elvendar. That's as much as I remember. Some years, yeah. Old game. Good game, though. What did I miss? This one? That one. Oh, the Krondor. Wester's View. I've read this a billion times. They're being watched. No, the poison. Should have bought more of those anti-venom from Sarth. Maybe I will. Three uses of the oilcloth. 4 uses of the oilcloth. Hmm. Wonder if this place sells anti-venom. Probably not. No. Let's run back to Sarth really quick. Brother Mark, go away. He doesn't even sell it. Way north, could be. They're being watched. Don't know why I continue looting these guys anymore. For the money, I guess. Getting close yet? No. Yes, Gorth. We're going to be ambushed again. Good job. Pebble fell down from the cliff face. Another. Must have killed half the kingdom by now. So many bodies on the road that's gonna spread the plague. I used the Luton's concentrate and all I did was cast blind. Oh, is this the wrong direction? Yes. Emerge near the town of Zune, son. Be ahead of us. Maybe they sell anti-venom. Herbs. Good bet. They do not. A bird shot into the sky. We must pay attention. Oh, we snuck by him. Is this the mine? Yes. Do I go to Lamont first? For any reason at all? Sure. Why not? Maybe we need a letter from the king, or whoever lived the garrison. Seems to me I don't want to be walking around here at night because there's guards. There was some sun chapter anyways. It probably doesn't have any anti-venom. One motioned the figure across the room. The man walked over to join them. He stood before them, eyebrows arched inquisitively. Sumani, hope you'll find your experience here at the Blue Wheel Inn a pleasurable one. You're Sarani, aren't you? Did you belong to the garrison here in Lamont? I've heard that many of the Earl Kasumi's troops were once from Ruanani. It is so. Why did you leave the garrison to run a tavern? Surely you would have had more opportunities for advancement in the garrison. You might have one day gained land for yourself or even a title. Earl Kasumi was gracious enough to dismiss me from my post so that my dishonor would not taint the reputation of the Mutian garrison. Mutian? What did you do? Forgive me, but I believe I can hear my cook calling from the kitchen. I will tend you later. Very well, I hope I didn't. We shall speak again soon. 18 sovereigns from playing the lute. That's the rest of the full. 5 sovereigns tonight. Motioned to the figure across the room. The dwarf walked over to join them. He stood before them, eyebrows arched inquisitively. Ah, you've done it now, lad. I'll be surprised if that old Sarani even ever spoke to you again. Why, what did I say? Nothing wrong, but leastways by the standards of the kingdom. But Sumani now, he's not of the kingdom, is he? At least not so he has the kingdom way of thinking. These folks from Kellowan have queer ways of looking at a thing, and by me reckoning you've just insulted his honor by bringing up his getting the boot from the garrison. Didn't mean to offend him, I was just curious. As any would be. As any would be. But these Serrani, they honor old, but these Serrani now, they old honor aways and above all else. If they be lacking in honor, then they feel they haven't the right to live. If not for a wee lie. I told him a year or more ago I suspected he would have ended his life by now. What did he do to warrant a dismissal? I can't say as he's been exactly talkative about it, but as I'm a dwarf, I poked around a bit and I think I've pieced the truth of the tale together. It seems a boot. 3 years ago, Sumani was mistakenly assigned the duty of standing watch over the Lemurian graveyard. Now he'd already stood a double watch that day, so a friend of his could tie the marital knot, and he'd been up late the night before attending to a laboring calf. Unfortunately, some cloud working for the Earl forgot to take note of the fact and arranged that Sumani stood watch for 26 hours. Try as he might, he eventually fell victim to exhaustion and nodded off at his post. But it wasn't his fault. True, but 'tis not the end of the tale. When his relief came, it was a certain arrogant bastard captain whose family had some feud with Sumani's family. As punishment, he forced Sumani to sleep the next night in a freshly dug grave along with the corpse recently dead of the consumption. The idiot clerk's mistake was eventually found out by Earl Kasumi, but Sumani felt as if he had brought dishonor upon himself and his former house by falling asleep. That's terrible, and he's still living with us on this, and he is still living with this on his conscience? That's the problem. The Serrani would ordinarily poison themselves or run themselves through it with a thing like that on their minds. They simply haven't had the experience of knowing how to let go of a mistake and go on. Fortunately, he's learning the kingdom way of dealing with the problem. Thanks for your services, Sumani. Goodbye. I'll stop in if I'm ever around again. Oh, garrison, I guess. The heavy metal gate greeted their arrival. When they were at last allowed entry to the garrison, they were led back to a meeting with Captain Belford. Pleasantries were exchanged as the men shook hands. You and your men have done a good job in this area, Captain. I'm no longer under martial law, I see. Belford sat a little straighter in his chair. Thank you. I've had patrols out rounding up every pointy-eared best. He caught himself, remembering Gorth was in the room. Well, we've captured a number of Mordell prisoners, the last group of which had some large dogs with them. We didn't have food to keep them, and they seemed harmless, so we turned them out. Trained beast hounds, no doubt, sighed Owen. Probably out looking for us. They thanked Captain Belford for his information and left. Alrighty then. Now there's supposed to be some special sword in this place too. We don't have any torches, do we? Candle glow. I heard you coming down the passageway, and for a moment I thought you might be another of them beasties. Come to rattle me bones. I suppose we're all a wee bit jumpy down here as yet. We didn't startle you too badly. We were just looking around for a way to get to Elvendar. I think I'd heard once it was on the other side of the Grey Towers. You found the way. Those mines stretch all the way from one side of the Grey Towers to the other. We've had a collapse here, but we broke through in about half an hour ago. I saw my brother McCanner for the first time in months. Oh, but there's some tragic loss too. There was a falls in the cavern, and the passages to it were terribly damaged. I don't know that we'll ever see it again. Terrible, terrible mess those Brackner made. But we can get through to Elvendar? Aye, but I advise you to stick to the main passages, as there's some windy bits that can cause some human distress. As a common, we wouldn't let you go alone as you get lost, but only the major passages have been cleared. You'll do safe for now. Before we go, can we ask you some questions? I don't see why not. What do you want to know, laddie? Elvendar. After we leave the Macmordain Cadal, which way will we take to Elvendar? I've never seen it before. You don't think for a moment it's going to be as easy as that, do you now, lad? The elves don't exactly invite the rest of the world in for pleasant tea parties, and I think they'll take particular exception to your Mordell friend here. Oh, he's not Mordell, he's an elf, but doesn't know the way to Elvendar. I'm no fool. And you'll be even sorrier, whelp, if you try that one on the war leader Thomas's border rangers. They'll have the both of you hanging by your ankles from a tree in Sparrow's Fall. If what I hear from me brother McCanner is true, they may even have cause to shoot your friend on sight. Why? Why would they want? What would they have against Gorth? Not I'm personally again the Mordell. Not him personally. Again, the Mordell. I'm not sure the details, but I've heard the Mordell are pressing the borders near Morland. Or Ellen? I don't know. I'm sure my brother McCanner can tell you more about it than I. If he's not still in the Cadal, he may be on the road to Caldara. Goodbye. And we should be going, I suppose. Gorth and I both have quite a bit to attend to. Don't we all? But a happier day I've not long had. If you wish to be going through on Elvidar, just keep following your nose west until you see daylight. How would you say thank you in your native tongue? I don't think you could get your tongue around it, or I'd tell you, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Good traveling to you. Thank you, and Gorth. Why don't you lead the way? That looks like I haven't explored it, but it's probably just a dead end. I thought going down was the way to go. Just want to peek at that. Keep going west, the dwarf said. Wait, this is it? No bad guys? Yeah, let's go north and then. Go downward. And we couldn't go further this way, I think. This was a dead end. It's still a dead end. Oh, bad guys. Enemy was not surprised. Surprise! I want to take that left, but let's try straight ahead first. Oh! Going too fast, right into the pit. Probably nothing down here, but I have to check again. Nothing. Since the guy told me to go west, I'm gonna go north first. Uh-oh, they need rest. Alrighty then. I got stopped here last time. A Gilda's Thorn. I won't try picking it. What was that? Agreed to attack. The troll. Okay, those things are called trolls. Or stumbled. Ow. Stop poking my eyes. Okay. There's a grave and some chests. Must be where the magical sword is, or whatever it's called. Is the name of it, I can't remember. Cursed sword. It's trapped. Not trapped. Fuck is complicated. Death will come quickly to those who trespass here. Leave now, or your suffering will be 1,000 times worse than that of the one now buried beneath this marker. Turning to Owen, Gore said, "Shall we dig up this grave?" Yes. Just a body. Didn't plague me, did it, when I dug it up? Flat as a leaf, round as a ring, has 2 eyes, but can't see a thing. Is it like needle or something? No. What else has eyes? Oh, I guess we'll bust open the notepad. Hmm. Cuss. What? What? Shoot? What? Plop. Plot. Cloth. Hose. Crit. Pop. Rip. I don't know. You may have guessed it. Yeah. I think I'll have to leave it for next time I play the game. Hope there's not something too important in there. Sometimes it comes to me later. My only guess was like a needle, like what else is flat? Like what else has eyes? Knots of wood. What's thorn? Only looking for the one chest where the answer is like lamb red hell for a special sword I can't remember the name of. Next time I play through this, I'll probably look up the answer to all the riddles. I think if I would have kept clicking the dials long enough, I would have figured it out too, but that can't be the best viewing experience. Which way? Either way. Oh boy, what are you? Oh boy, he's coming for me. Brackner. How many consumables I want to use? Sure. Use the root oil. They hadn't been seen. Charging forward in the murky darkness, Owen finally caught sight of the creature and gasped at the size of it. Glancing over his shoulder at Goroth, he sighed. This is going to be harder than I thought. It's probably not, though. I think I can just keep it blinded. You know, I drank a Luton's concentrate just to use blind. Let's try something else. Come Summon some spirits. Oh, okay. That's what that spell is. $79. Two hit. Magic bees, yeah. That appears to be the way out. That's not where I want to go. Another pit. Come on, show me the chest with the special sword in it. What? How did I not find it? Oh, well, I guess it doesn't exist. Oh! When's the last time I saved? Probably gotta fight that thing again. Yep. What other spells haven't I tried yet? Let's hit him with the magic bees again. Forgot to use the crude oil, I guess. Good job, Owen. Maybe there's another level to the mine? A long corridor stretched before them. This must be the patches of Elvendar. If we go this way, it may take us a few hours to get to the end. Are we to climb up it right now? Yes. Hours passed, just as Owen was beginning to wonder if they would ever see the light of day again. The walls of the stairwell widened and were illuminated by dim shafts of light piercing the darkness through an oaken door. Pushing it open, Owen gasped at the marvel of the leafy canopy which spread above them. Right. We are in Elvendar. We should be like all the way over here on the map or something. Yeah, okay. Old Dara. We go through the trees? Uh-oh. They were not alone. Gorth's pulse quickened as he saw the lone figure approach, but when it became apparent they were not being attacked, he relaxed a bit, squinted slightly in an attempt to see who was about to join them. This guy's name is McKentner Bandok. It's an awful mess from here on out. Wyverns have come in from over the mountains and have singed things up a bit. If we hadn't been beating back flames this past weeks, we'd have been through a month sooner. I don't know how many roads are passable at this stage. What kin o' Yorn that come and helped us clean out the mess in the mine left as soon as word reached us that fires were approaching Elvendar. Where did the Wyverns come from? Where else, lad? The Northlands. Some new bastard Mordell leader I kept here harassing your kinfolk. I hope you haven't any kits in harm's way. What? No. What of the Mordell? A few as we've had the nerve to cross over from the Morellan have already got themselves skewered. So I know that Prince Callan has been on the frontier looking for others. The biggest concern as yet is to put out the flames and get help to those who got trapped behind it all. Prince Callan. Prince Callan leads? What of War Leader Thomas? Poor news indeed. 3 days ago, Thomas led a band of elves to stem riders what had come over from the river near Morellan. They beat the raiders back all right, but in the melee the warlord took a thrust to his side with a tainted blade. They had to carry him back to Elvendar, though I understand it wasn't without a struggle. Thomas wanted to stay, but word was carried back to Aglorana of his condition, and that was the end of that. Prince Callan assumed control of the patrols at that point, and I ken he's still up near the northeastern fringe of the forest carving up Mordell. Does the war leader yet live? That lad's ever been a fighter, and tenacious at one at that. Soon he'll let him cut a leg off. Oh boy. Sooner he'll let him cut a leg off than succumb to his poison. I wouldn't worry. Wouldn't no worry. I think it took your kin for a turn, though, seeing Thomas fall. I never heard of it appearing in the 15 years he's been with your folk. Your roads. We are required in Elvendar quickly. You mentioned fires? Extinguished now, but not without a fair portion of foot stomping and bucket carrying. I thought for a while the whole forest might become all one of ferocious blaze. But Tathor and the rest of Queen Aglarana's spellweavers managed to put an halt to that business. We should have no difficulty returning to Elvendar. I don't know I would exactly say that. There's still a fair number of those wyverns flapping about the forest, though Tathor's been working night and day to bring the blighters down, even taught Prince Kalen a little bit of spellcraft, what can bend the will of those cantankerous lizards. But I understand it still hasn't been put to an halt to the raids. What of the dwarves? Oh, we have volunteered a few men, but as you elves don't much like outsiders in your realm, we've respected your borders. King Dolgun did send a few volunteers to help out when the Elf Queen, but a lot of them took a terrible weariness once they entered the forest and could go no further. They must have fell afoul of one of your fabled sleeping glades. Aldara. If we may face wyverns, it might be wise we had our armor repaired. Are there any armor crafters in Caldera? Are there any leaves in Elvendar? You've gone daft. Of course there's armor crafters in Caldera. You don't have to go all that way, though. I can repair it for a few gold, and if you watch close, you might even learn a bit about the craft of repairing armor. Does 100 sovereign suit you? Yes. Suits me just fine. What do we need to do? Well, lad, I'd be much obliged if you removed any armor you might have under your tunic of yours, and if your elf friend would do the same, we'll get to work. Now just watch what I do. Someone told me once a few dents in the armor can actually be beneficial. Something about them catching blows that would ordinarily scrape along the surface and into the chinks. Makes some sort of sense when you think about it, I suppose. Maybe it would be a good idea to make armor so that it already has bumps. Facets. If it already had them built in, then the armor... You're already finished? I finished. You'll find your armor is in good a condition as it can be, lad. Though I dare say you've learned a great deal more if you spent more time listening and less time talking. Bye. There's a road off to the side. And I do not remember this. No one answered the knocking. Maybe we'll come back in the morning. One knocked on the door. Hickory-scented pipe smoke slid underneath, curled gently around his feet. The smell had barely reached his nose and the door was flung open. They were greeted by a smiling dwarf. Great day, come in, laddies, join us. Over his left shoulder, they could see several other dwarfs seated around a small wooden table, onto which they were tossing small square stones. Introductions completed, they were invited to join the game. Only 5 sovereigns, what do you say? Yes. Standing around the table, Owen was given a stone, and after a count of 3, all were thrown onto the table. Kapka, yelled one of the dwarfs, grabbing the stone thrown by Owen. You lose, lad. He scooped up all the coins on his lap. What? Cried Owen. It was a double dragon, the first to yell Klapka, and grab the other stone as the winner, said the dwarf. Care to try again? Sure. Attaboys, drop them in the pot and pick up your stones. Once again, they tossed their stones at the table. The count of 3. This time, 2 of the dwarfs stood up excitedly and yelled, Vuka, Vuka. They picked up their stones and tossed them down again. After the second throw, one dwarf slammed his fists on the table, and others, grinning broadly, scooped up all the coins on their lap. Ah, Vuka stones. Care to try your luck again, lads? No. I think the Bodylands are afraid, said one of the dwarves. It was a mistake to ask them to play in the first place. They left. Made a chorus of catcalls and taunts. Where does the other road lead to, I wonder? Knocked on the door and waited for a reply. There were some shuffling sounds, and the door swung open, and they found themselves staring down at a dwarf. Well, bless me bones, what brings you lads so far from home? He invited them into his house, offered them some fresh water for the pouches. He asked of their journey, and they told him briefly. Heard about the trouble of being had by the elves, then? He asked. Trouble? Questioned Owen. Aye, damnest thing. Baby dragons have been attacking Elvendar. War leader Thomas has been doing his best to keep them up, but there's only so much he can do. He talked some more of the attacks and of the strange rock-like inhabitants that have been spotted in the Macbardane Cadal. They surprised him with a description of how they had killed one of the creatures. Thanking him for his kindness, they left. It abandoned some time ago. Guess this road is just going around the town. Is that some kind of creature or just a bush? Just a tree. There appears to be nothing. Well, I did used to have a Werven egg. Uh-oh. Gorth halted. Blinking slowly, he put a hand over his stomach. Then he looked towards his confused-looking companion. Hold for a moment, Owen. I wish to speak to you. Why, what is it? I merely wish to prepare you for the things that may transpire before we reach Elvendar. There are magics, things ancient, which have kept the Moradel from crossing into the forests of the Eladel. But I feel those things have been awakened. I may have some difficulty in completing our journey. Difficulty? What do you mean? It's not my intent to alarm you, and only to reassure you that no matter what may happen between here and Elvendar, I have come to consider you a friend. This direction. Tavern of some kind, it's abandoned. Another off-road road. And even if there were chests in here, I'd never find them. Did I just get turned around? Yes, I did. Maybe the occupants left something behind. Some spoiled rations. Used to be a shop of some kind. The house seemed abandoned. Prying open the front door, they entered cautiously. Inside, they found an assortment of furniture items, no doubt too heavy or bulky to move, though it appeared there wasn't anything of value. The house was worth a careful search. One banged on the door with the side of his fist. After a moment, a man's voice called from inside. What do you want? Could you please give us some fresh water for our pouches? There's a well just down the road. Now leave me alone. Further conversation didn't seem to be worth the effort, so they left. No one had answered the first knock, so Owen knocked again. Finally, a hoarse voice called to them, heavy with a dwarven accent. Who's calling me? We come from the kingdom. Can we come in? Owen asked. Aye, the door's open. Do as you like. They opened the door and entered a dimly lit room, sparsely furnished. In one corner, they could make out a shape, currently laying on a bedroll. Come in, rest your bones a minute, said the dwarf in a tired voice, with his eyes closed, as though he were seeing the event on the inside of each lid. He told them of his journey from Caldera, and of the wervens he had seen circling Elvendar. The bloody Mordell are roaming about, too. Took a sword in the side from one. He rolled over, and they could see the deep gash extending from his hip halfway up his hairy back. Can we do anything for you? Owen winced at the gaping wound. Nah, it looks worse than it is. I just need a few more days to rest up, that's all. They wished him well and left quietly. Another shop there. Shop is closed. Come back tomorrow. Split Tree Goods. Key of Lineages. I don't think I have one of those. Let's get it. I was looking for some of that. And maybe some food. That's something. Wooden stump. It was hollowed out. E. Where's this trail going? The enemy crept forward. We're gonna have to fight, Owen said. If we turn around, they'll simply pounce on us as if we were mice. Forth laughed bitterly. I think mice would have a better chance. Yikes. Let's see if blind works. Huh. That wasn't too hard. Did they have anything? No. Where are we going? We don't know. Worth motioned for silence. Though it had been years since he had led his kin through the skirts of the LL forest on their escape from the Greenheart, the sights and smells were as familiar to him as the lines on the tips of his fingers. Yet there was an unnatural feeling about the area they stood in. Something moves nearby, but is not one of our blood or any forest animal whose movement sounds I know. I thought I was hearing something, a high-pitched sort of whine coming from the north. Same sound. It might be to our benefit if we were to see what the source was. What if it's something that thinks we look like dinner? If it wished to harm us, better that we know what stalks us and have the advantage in attack than to allow it to come and eat us when it chooses the moment, don't you think? The choice is yours. It said north, but I'm going west, so what's north? Nothing. Oh boy. Rizalki was trying to communicate in an odd language. They were somehow able to understand. The Rizalki spoke to them. Do not be afraid of me. I can see that your hearts are true, and as such I will do no harm. How do you know such things about us? I know many things. You are on a quest, are you not? Yes, we are. Can you help us? Not directly, no. Only if you would be willing to find the Mordel spellcaster who has been perverting the wills of my kin with a strange device and retrieve from this man an item stolen from me. Builds an item named after my own person. Elam's heart. Return it with it, and I will do what I may to assist you. Cool. Alright. I'll have to remember where this is. The middle of nowhere, in fact. Kind of by those couple bends in the river. I bet you that spellcaster's down the road, right? Makes it that easy, these old games. There's a rope. Still panicking from the climb. Owen studied the treehouse. I think we just wasted our energy climbing up here. Doesn't seem to be anyone about. Uh-huh. Doesn't seem to be anyone about. Uh-oh. They look like bushes. Ooh. No one didn't die in one hit. And he's cast a spell on me. Doesn't seem to be anyone about. Forth heard a loud sound. Grasping for his only means of defense, he planted his feet firmly and waited for his stomach, while his stomach tied itself in knots. As many times he had found himself in a fight, he never could shake the strange feeling he was about to die. Is that the mortal spellcaster? We'll blind her in. And I guess we'll chase them down, and Owen, you're kind of on your own. Nice. I guess this is where you're supposed to save that Dragonstone for... And then these Wervins don't hurt you as much. Right, is that... Do I have the Elim's thingamabobber? Never find the body. There it is. Flame root oil. That's for frost-bladed weapons. He climbed to the top of the tree and knocked on the door of the small tree house. The door opened, slowly exposing a dark-skinned elf with wrinkled skin. He looked at them with only mild concern. After a moment, he allowed them into the house. My name is Fallen, he said, introducing himself, then turned to Gorth and said, I have seen many returnings in my years, but none such as yours. Gorth nodded slowly but didn't speak. Fallen told them of the Wyverns attacking Elvendar from the north, and of the elves who were desperately trying to defend their borders from a mortal invasion. As they left, Fallen pointed toward the war leader Thomas. He is due north of here. Good luck. Well then. I have no idea where these roads are supposed to be leading and stuff. Of course, white ropes swung back and forth in the gentle breeze. Ready? Gorth asked Owen, who was obviously not looking forward to the work it was going to require to climb to the top of the tree. Yeah, sure, let's go. Follow me. Painfully, he pulled himself to the top of the tree and, still panting, turned to watch Gorth's almost effortless ascent. The small elven house midway up the tree was abandoned. Searching inside, they discovered several empty boxes, each intricately carved, a hammock-style bed, and a pile of dead leaves that had obviously been blown in through the missing back window. They were about to leave when Gorth spotted something in the trees above them. He climbed to take a closer look, as Owen carefully scooted out further on the branch he was on. Pulling back a handful of scorched leaves revealed the badly burned body of a young male elf. Let's say this one fought a losing battle with a wyvern, Gorth said grimly. They descended the tree in silence. Wyvern? Wyvern? Never. Due north. Alright, let's go due north. Trap. I guess we'll push this one forward. Hopefully that wasn't a mistake. I think that one's gonna go over here. We block this one. We want to go here. There. Made it. Second thought, let's not sleep here, he says. Something nearby. Due north. Enemy crept toward them. Well, that's a blue one. Interesting. I wonder if Evil Seek works on these guys. It does. This. Sort of. Sounded like distant war drums. Owen stopped and cocked one ear, a puzzled expression on his face. He was about to comment on the strange sound when a cool wind suddenly kicked up swirls of dust around him. Looking up, he was terrified to see the sound was not caused by the beating of drums. It was beating of a very large pair of wings. The creature landed prepared for combat. Evil Seek again. Maybe I should have killed one that already took a turn. Get expensive with the evil Sikhs. Due north. Worth faltered, a hand clasped to his gullet. He grimaced as Owen looked to him for reassurance. Forcing as much of a smile as he could for the boy's benefit, imitating a gesture of fondness he had often seen, he reached out and tossed the squire's golden hair. We have come to the moment, Boris said. Elvendar lies just ahead. Perhaps the Eldel may put this matter of Macros to rest. Owen nodded, peering into the heights, hoping to catch a glimpse of the fair folk on their elaborate balconies among the leaves. Almost afraid to go on, Owen said. What if what we're looking for isn't here? What if the elves think we're invaders and try to kill us? We will not be harmed, Gorath said, gasping as the magic of the elven force attempted to turn him aside. If you think it's the time to enter the city, then I follow. It is your decision, Owen. Let's go. Owen gaped. Awash in light, Elvendar glistened in circuitous fairy walkways. Its circuitous fairy walkways, decked in glowing lanterns of brushed gold and crystal. Above, a canopy of silver-white leaves arched over the whole of the treetop city, masking from view whether sun or moon reigned in the skies above, beyond. Gorath, isn't this the most perfect place you've ever seen? Owen exclaimed. I've never dreamt of anything like this. Squire, if you can hold your tongue for a moment, Gorath said, it might behoove you to bow to their queen. Flushed with embarrassment, Owen turned heel, shriveling as he noticed the cloaked figures who waited patiently upon their thrones. Quickly he folded in obeisance. Obeisance? Hoping sincerely that human manners would be appropriate in the Elven court. We have come from Krondor with news about Pug of Stardock, Owen said. We were in hopes. Silence, child, Queen Aglarana spoke gently, her pale blue eyes glowing in the shadows. But we would hear of your dear friend, Pug. We first must attend to the unraveling of aeons. Inclining her head towards Gorath, her voice and composure took on a grave edge. You have come before us as a Mordel, but you may never leave Elvendar as such. Are you willing to return to us your ancient kin, cousin? Rage flashed in his eyes, trembling with emotion. Gorath advanced on the queen, his hand darting to the hilt of his sword. No, Gorath, Owen gasped, knowing his voice was too small to stay his friend's wrath. You can't. I was Gorath of the clan Ardanian, he spat, his voice thick with an ageless contempt. Color drained from his face as he gripped ever more tightly the sword at his side. I am Gorath, and I formally return to the Eladel, swear fealty to Aglarana, Queen of the Elves, and to Thomas, Prince Consort and War Leader. Falling to one knee, he knelt low before Aglarana's feet. I am yours to command, lady. His heart hammering, an unsteady tattoo in his chest, Owen stared in frank appraisal of the elves before him. Except for a glazed expression lingering on Prince Consort Thomas's face, he saw no evidence of any of them had witnessed anything unusual. Rise. From this day forward, you are no longer Mordel, Gorath, Aglarana said. You are a member of the family of Elvendar and of the Eladel. When your quest is done, you will return here to be one of us. That is our desire. What is this news of Pug? As if wakening from a dream, the elven war leader spoke the magician's name with great concern, his dark eyebrows rising in interest as Owen began to elaborate the details. At times he would request that certain details be repeated, but always his glassy eyes became sharply focused when Owen spoke the names of Pug and members of Arutha's court. By the moons, that means trouble, Thomas coughed as the boy finished his tale. The Book of Macros is not a book, but instead a gift that Pug gave to me long ago. I was to use it to come to him if he ever left that message for me. I must go. You cannot, love. Even now I sense the efforts of the pain-killing herbs beginning to wear off, Aglarana said, laying a pale hand on Thomas's shoulder. As if broaching a delicate subject, she continued quietly. 3 days ago, the war leader was struck with a poisoned blade. Only last evening did his fever abate, but he demanded to be brought here when he heard that a Moradel was returning. He hasn't the strength for the trip. You must go in his stead. Don't try my patience, Aglarana. Pug needs my help, and I shall go. Struggling to get his feet, he blanched with the effort, standing straight only by groping the back of his throne. How many of our kin carried you here, my warlord? The queen asked, her voice laced with concern. Was it 5 or 6? You are no longer possessed by the soul of Ashen Shugar, and you are not gifted with immortality. None doubt your strength or loyalty, Thomas, but you owe it to Pug to send able help. As always, my love, you are wise, Thomas whispered, his strength beginning to fail him. Reaching beneath the seat of his throne, he brought forth a leather tome covered with dust. Cool. We may not be the strongest or the fastest, Thomas, but we are able, and we are here. Send us to him. I have little choice. You, Gorith, shall be my emissary in this. May the blessings of Elvendar go with you, and tell Pug I am sorry. We shall. Chapter 7, The Long Ride. Bells tolled in the towers of Northwarden. Jubilant guards shouted from the walls. Slapped backs, exchanged war stories only days old. Already a bard was milling through the crowd, gathering names and places, scribbling them down as fast as he could. Tonight they would gather, they would drink, they would pay old Tamley the minstrel each time he sang their names. Listening to the general hubbub drifting in through an open shutter, Signor James allowed himself a grim smile as he dropped down to where Arutha and Locklear conferred over a battle map. By day's end, I warrant that Delicon will have died on the sword point of every man here, James said. It's a shame he wasn't really leading that raid. Indeed, Arutha agreed, his eyes shrouded as he brooded about something. I would like to ask him a few questions. I'd leave for High Castle at noon, even though the Mordell have turned from here. I am certain that the first of them will be upon our troops there by sunup tomorrow. Fortunately, my army will be there to greet them. Still, I wish I knew what they were up to. Arutha glanced up, startled, as the page boy skidded into the chamber. Your pardon, my lord, the boy stuttered. They have captured the Mordell raiding leader. Without pause, Arutha's eyes hardened. Prepare him for questioning. Oh boy. Cooperate now, Mordell, and I promise you'll live to see your children become adults. Daunt me and I'll have your eyes for necklace beads, and your manhood for an inkwell. My death will be unimportant. If you think we shall torture you unto death, I would advise that you ponder my mood. Anxious though I am to have answer, I will keep you screaming this side of death a month or a year, or until I feel well satisfied that we have heard all you have to say. A day, a month, you've already lost. Nail my entrails to your doorpost, feed my brain to your dogs. It will not matter. Even if you act now, you'll be too late. You will win only pain for your trouble. Instruct him, torturer. Oh my. You do not listen. We know the secret of Sethanon. We shall be free. We shall free him. What secret? Why the Sethanon? 10 years ago we attacked. With Myrmindamus you captured, imprisoned him. Deluded fool, we killed Myrmindamus at Sethanon and burned his bones for potash. There is nothing there for Delicon to find. A lie. We have spied. What else could you guard so closely? How does he think he will win past our garrison at High Castle? He hasn't enough men. Answer me. Rift machine. The Six have a machine. It can take them place to place like a door between great distances. Even while your troops die at Sethanon, we will walk through the machine. We shall be through the Dimwood and inside Sethanon a week before you can reach us. Your troops will be exhausted. The day will be ours. A rift machine inside the Dimwood. That bastard Serrani magician has been consorting with Delicon. Torturer, tell Seniors James and Locklear to ride to the Dimwood. They must find and destroy the rift machine while I hie to High Castle to divert our forces once more. Time is of the essence. Chapter 7, The Long Ride. Destroy the Mordell rift machine. Where are we? Oh, we're already here. That might be a good place to end this episode. For tomorrow, we'll start right off Chapter 7. Oh, we're a little 20 minutes early on the episode ending, but I think that's fine. So, thanks for watching, and thanks for following and subscribing and liking and pressing all the buttons. And we'll see you again tomorrow for episode 14, or 15 of Betrayal at Krondor. If you want to see earlier episodes or any other games I played, feel free to check out the live tab on my YouTube or the playlist over there. And yeah, peace. Love you. Thanks for watching. See you next time.